In this video, I'm going to be doing a full Amazon listing teardown. I'm going to be looking at everything from images to copywriting, Rufus, and A+ content to show you exactly the process that we go through when making recommendations for our clients. My name is Carly McMillan, and I run an Amazon marketing agency called PPC Farm, where we help Amazon sellers at 7 or 8 figures optimize their Amazon marketing. So I decided to look at the search term grill brush here, and I found a product that I think has a terrible listing. It is the Weber 12-inch 3-sided grill brush. This listing is basically horrible. They basically didn't even try. And this happens a lot with larger brands. They really can get pretty far just on the brand name. Weber is a big brand name in the grilling space, and they're selling 10,000 units a month. It's definitely not bad, but they could be selling a lot more. And I'll show you that in just a second. But the images don't sell the product at all. Title is not optimized in any way. A description of the product is not selling it at all. And same with the bullet points. Okay, so let's go take a look at some of their competitors and what they're doing differently. If we take a look here at the Grill Rescue, you can see that they actually have a lower rating than Weber. They have a 4.2. They do have over 7,000 reviews, whereas Weber has only 4,000. The Grill Rescue is priced at almost $50, but they are selling 30,000 units per month, whereas Weber is only selling 10. They're doing that by having a better listing. You can see they actually put effort into the images and the copy. Another example here from Grill Art, you can see that they have a 4.3. They do have a lot of reviews at over 20,000, but they're selling 20,000 units. It's much higher priced than the Weber. So starting with images, number 1, is it visually interesting? Number 2, does it fill the space? And number 3, can you immediately tell what the product is? So number 1, is it visually interesting? I'm gonna say no. I will say the photography is not bad. It is clear, you know, they have good kind of like highlights on the handle and all of that, but it is not interesting in any way. So I would say no. Next, does it fill the space? Also no. There's a lot of white space on the top and the bottom of the image here. So I would say also no to that one. Finally, number 3, can you immediately tell what the product is? Actually, on this one, I would say yes. I can tell that this is a brush. I can immediately tell what this product is, so they do have a check for that one. Let's take a look at the other products. So is it visually interesting? No. Does it fill the space? No. Can you immediately tell what it is? Also no. So this one actually is doing a little bit worse than Weber. It's very difficult to see what this image on top of the packaging is here. I guess it's a grill, right? But it's very small. The photography, again, is not bad, but I cannot tell what this is. Also, they're kind of selling a new category here because this isn't actually a brush. It's like a head instead, you know? All right, so here we have a much better image in my opinion. So is it visually interesting? Yes. I think the photography is good. It's got a lot of it looks like it's gonna clean a lot, right? Good. I think pretty good. Could they do more with it and make it even more interesting? Yes. I might move the packaging down a little bit so you can see that it says grill. Other than that, better than the other two for sure. Next, does it fill the space? Yes, it definitely does, right? We do have like a little space over here that they could fill in, but there is a tipping point where it gets a little bit too busy. I think they're doing a great job. Number 3, can you immediately tell what it is? I would say yes. I mean, I'm not really familiar with this kind of a product, but like I can tell it's like a scrubby brush scrapey thing. So this is an example of a pretty good main image. The checklist for secondary images is the same. Can you tell what the product is? Is it visually interesting? Does it fill the space? But we also have a 4th category for secondary images, which is, can you understand the main benefit this secondary image is trying to explain? It's 3-sided, and that allows you to clean in between grates. Okay. I think that is what they are trying to show with this image, because the brush is sort of on its side and it's using one of the 3 sides to clean in between the grates. That is a lot of thinking that I have to do to understand that is the feature they're trying to sell. So that is a big miss. Clearly, this image is trying to communicate that this product is tough. They are doing that by explaining it in words. So our high temp aramid fiber keeps this bad boy going strong for the long haul. Decent enough copy, but the problem is they're doing too much telling and not enough showing. For example, I think a better image of this would be showing degradation of use. For example, they'd show what the product looked like on day 1, and then they'd show the product on day 365 and show it has some wear and tear, but it's still going strong, right? That is what I would do with this image instead. And then we also have like designed in the USA and patented. And I think that those are really, really good call outs, but I think that there's kind of too many selling points happening in the secondary image. I hope that that helps you understand the idea of what we look for in a good secondary image. Is it communicating the thing it's trying to communicate? Let's move on to copywriting. So copywriting, or SEO, also has a few different categories, but the main ones are the title and the bullet points. So with the copywriting and SEO on an Amazon listing, you're trying to satisfy two different goals. Make Amazon understand what your product is. You're trying to get indexed for keywords related to your product. On the other side, you are trying to help the customer understand what you're selling. Sometimes those two goals conflict because while it can be easy to stuff a bunch of keywords into your bullet points and title, that doesn't always make it easy for a customer to read or understand. So actually, Amazon has recently come out with a new policy related to titles specifically, where they're trying to get sellers to move away from all that keyword stuffing. But I think still best practices are trying to aim for somewhere in the middle, making sure you're indexed for keywords related to your product, but also making it easy to understand for the average consumer. So I think Weber here didn't really achieve either of those things. Again, they're just like, it's a brush. So they've got their brand name in there, which is really the main thing that's doing any kind of selling for them. But otherwise, they've simply described the brush. They have not told me why this is a good brush to buy in any way. And it's the same with the bullet points. So not good. Not only that, they are missing out on a lot of keywords that I think that they would want to be indexed for. For example, we're missing words like cleaner, like accessory, like scraping, like barbecue, or all the different ways that someone might be searching for this product. And that's really your goal when it comes to SEO, is making sure that you are indexed for and capturing different ways that people will search for your product on Amazon. Because otherwise, if you're just competing on Grill Brush, for example, you are missing out on a big chunk of the market. Let's talk about titles first and look at the titles the competitors are using. Okay, so for Grill Rescue here, you can tell that they are definitely trying to sell it a little bit more. It's durable, it's unique, right? They're using some kind of adjectives to sell the product. And they've also added some additional words for SEO, like grates, cleaning head, tools, cleaner, all of those things, right? And for Grill Art, it's the same. They're definitely aiming to satisfy both Amazon and customers. And then they have additionally some gifting kind of audience related keywords. So for example, if you're searching for like grill gift for dad, they're wanting to show up on those search terms, which I think is great and something that's good to do. Now, I will say that I think that Grill Art here has swung a little bit far on optimizing for Amazon. And I think that the average consumer would find this title to be complete gibberish. So I think they do need a little bit more balance in terms of that. But otherwise, they're doing a good job of trying to optimize for SEO. Now, looking at bullet points, what you want to do with the bullet points is the same. You want to optimize for SEO and you want to optimize for the consumer. And you have a lot more characters here to do that. So here's where you really want to make sure that you're capturing every single way that someone might be searching for this product and doing it in a way that the customer can easily and quickly see the benefits for them. So that's why you often see like a capitalized or in some way separated section of the bullet point. That's really for the consumer, so that the consumer can quickly see, okay, bristle-free brush, safe for cleaning. Okay, it's safe. It's durable. It's easy to use. It's professional, right? That is kind of what is in bold for the consumer to read. And then the rest of the bullet point, the idea is it will support that kind of main feature that you're selling in that bullet point, and additionally have the opportunity to add in a bunch of different keywords, just like they're doing here. Obviously, I haven't done like a full deep dive into keyword research to check to see if they might be missing any keywords, and I would say it's more or less the same for Grill Art. I think they could be doing a little bit better here. For example, I think the safest bristle-free grill cleaner is a little bit confusing, and instead you might want to use language like bristle-free equals safe or something like that. Again, making sure that the customer doesn't have to think too much and they can easily understand why that feature is a benefit to them. The next sort of subsection of SEO these days is optimizing for Rufus. And how do you do that? Well, optimizing for Rufus falls into the category of optimizing for Amazon. It is a way to ensure that Amazon's AI and bots are indexing your listing properly and so that you're showing up on the right searches. It's a little bit different than traditional SEO because Rufus uses more like phrases than individual keywords. So the way that you can quickly and easily see whether or not you're being indexed for things that you want to be indexed for is simply to ask Rufus. There isn't any available reporting on exactly what Rufus knows or doesn't know about your products and your listings. So this is kind of the quickest way to do this right now. Can it clean cast iron grates? It says yes, it can clean cast iron grates. And all that Rufus is doing is scraping your listing, your bullets and your A+ content and product descriptions backend and reviews. So I think that it found this photo and information from the A+ content. And then I asked it, what is the brush made of? And it said it's made of stainless steel. Okay, good. Because that means it was able to find the answer. That means that you don't need to change anything in order to give it that knowledge. But here, for example, I asked it, does it melt? And Rufus said, the product information and customer reviews do not mention anything about melting. Okay, so here would be an opportunity for you to go and add that information to your bullet points. This is a selling point, apparently, because a lot of competitors talk about this. It's not anywhere in this listing. So since this product is stainless steel, I'm assuming it does not melt, but Weber could make that assumption a lot easier for me to know instead of assume, by putting it in the bullet points or the A+ content. So that's an example of how you can use Rufus to see whether or not you're indexed for AI related searches and AI related search on Amazon. Finally, the other area that we look at for listing optimization is in A+ content. Now I will say A+ content is sort of at the bottom of the hierarchy when it comes to listing optimization. So it's kind of an order of the way that I went through the listing today. So main image, secondary images, title, bullet points, product description / A+ content is at the bottom. That is in relation to the amount of impact that changes to your listing can have on your sales. So a change to a main image can easily have 20, 30, 40% impact on your sales. Whereas adding one keyword, it will definitely still have an impact, but it could be more like a 5 to 10% lift. So Weber here is basically using branded A+ content. They are not really selling this specific grill brush. They're simply selling the brand. It's a little bit confusing to me as a consumer. Like, I actually think this is kind of useless. Okay, let's take a look at grill art because they are doing the same thing. They're kind of showing like, look at all these other grill accessories that we have and Father's Day sale and a bunch of text I'm not going to read and then how to use the product. So kind of not really selling it to me. Whereas I think Grill Rescue is the only one of our examples here today that is actually selling this specific product. And this is what I think you want to be doing with your A+ content. So the brush is safe, it's made in the USA. I mean, it's kind of repeating what they have in their secondary images, but that's okay. Sometimes you need to hit people more than once. It's convenient, it's made by a firefighter, it's safe, warning, other brushes are bad, right? They're really selling this specific product, which is what you want to do with your A+ content. That concludes our listing teardown. Again, these are the same things that we look for when evaluating potential client listings. And the reason that this step is so important is because if you have an unoptimized listing and you're sending traffic there, if you're paying for ads to go to that listing and it's not converting, you're kind of throwing your money away. So we always recommend to clients to get your listings properly optimized before you even start thinking about what to do with your ads. So I hope these tips have been helpful and you can implement them to your own products by just kind of going through and asking these same questions, going through that checklist, talking to Rufus, doing your keyword research, right? And making sure that your listings are truly, truly optimized. And then of course, if you are ready to get started with advertising, or if you want us to take a look at listings or take a look under the hood of your advertising, we do offer a free audit. So go to ppcfarm.com and we'll get you sorted out with that. Of course, if you are loving this Amazon content, please like, subscribe. You can also follow me on LinkedIn at Carly McMillan. And thank you so much for watching. Please also check out my latest video here.